But like I said before, why are there people running the same thing and getting different results? Because they are media buying strategies, which are different. One person runs the same offer with the same creative as another, and one makes a profit while the other doesn't. So from this point of view, the only thing that separates these two people is the traffic. And I've seen this happen a lot. That's why we started to focus much more on traffic, especially by also looking at the operations that are scaling the most right now. They're no longer just operations in general. There can definitely be exceptions. It's a market where there are several exceptions. But in general, the biggest operations at the moment, when it comes to scaling operations, their basic premise is to focus on media buying.
Actually, I was even chatting with him about this over lunch, guys. I really should switch this podcast around because we talk about most things at lunch and then have to repeat them here. But in the past, there was no operation without copywriting and traffic. Today, back then, without networking, events, which used to be all about events. So what do? There are two partners. Who's the copywriter and who's the traffic manager? It's a normal question. And it happened like I was in Dubai, went to chat with Andre. By the way, shout out to Andre. Yeah, Andre Carvalho from NW Media. I asked, man, are you the copywriter or the traffic manager? He said, I'm the traffic manager. And Lucas, who's your partner? I'm also the traffic manager. I said, wait, you're two partners, both traffic managers? She said, yeah, I handle Google and I handle Facebook. And what about copy? Who's the copywriter? He said, the copywriter is the producer. Because nowadays in the market, there's the producer who creates the offers or shapes the offers, and kind of like to go to the top affiliates, which is his case. The guy's even set up a copy squad for you. So he said, man, I have a producer there. We're really close. And the guy does the copy for us. So the guy writes microlit for us, edits, creates, and even develops different products. So for those who don't know, Rodrigo also worked in info, right? Yeah. But today in the market, even the product itself is kind of an 80-20 for people, right? So if you're a top affiliate, you ask the producer to change the product, or in other words, not to run the product. Since everyone runs it, that makes a difference. So the guy literally focused on the 80-20, which is traffic nowadays because of the reasons you mentioned, and he delegated the copy part to the team. That's really crazy, man, because it changed everything completely.
Yeah. It's just that, especially when talking about the current market, which is really split between, as we were saying before, companies that either offer affiliation and others, right, that take on this affiliation and focus on scaling. So I believe that producers themselves have already realized that what they need are good media buyers and not good copywriters, because copywriters, they can hire themselves, as you said, to help these affiliates scale further. Because yes, it's important. Copy is important, as is refreshing creatives, microleads, VSLs. But like I said before, why are there people running the same thing and getting different results? Because they are media buying strategies, which are different. And with copy, it's much easier to know what someone is doing. There on Skype, searching in the library.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah.
The person goes to the library, starts searching, and it's very easy to understand what it is. The other person is running it.
I hadn't thought about that. True, it makes sense.
And now when it comes to traffic, because even if we're talking about a really advanced spy tool, you'll be able to maybe know what the guy is running there on an ad account.
But you won't know the exact percentage they're increasing the budget by. And
what if the guy is running 1,000 ad accounts? If guy is running 200, 300, 1,000 ad accounts, you don't know. You don't know what time he's
launching the campaign.
Exactly. What time he's activating it, what time he pauses it. Anyway, there are countless strategies there that they could be offers that you won't have access to. Contingency, for example, how is this guy managing to maybe make accounts last?
To keep the account running, right? To really hold it.
Yes.